You spend 6 months designing a new product. You show the concept to 10 prospective clients, and all 10 assure you they love it and would gladly pay for it. So you spend your capital, run production, and launch the final version. Then your anticipated sales vanish into the void. You're experiencing the consequences of the polite lie. When you ask someone what they think of your idea, their immediate instinct is to avoid an uncomfortable social interaction. They will nod, smile, and tell you it looks great, solely to elide conversation without hurting your feelings. You accept this false validation because of your own confirmation bias. You want the idea to succeed, so your brain actively filters out their hesitation and latches onto their polite approval as solid market research. The pioneer of modern customer development, Steve Blank, established a core rule for avoiding this trap. There are no facts inside your building. The safety of the conference room encourages perfect, unbroken logic, but the expansive, messy reality of the actual market operates on friction and irrational behavior. If you stay confined to the office, you will inevitably spend your development budget creating a flawless solution for a consumer profile that simply does not exist. To find out what the market actually values, you have to stop acting like a salesman pushing a product and start operating as a diagnostician investigating a symptom. Consider a software team pitching a new AI-driven supply chain forecasting tool to a factory manager. Sitting in a quiet boardroom, the manager looks at the presentation and agrees that an AI assistant would be highly beneficial. But lean engineering relies on the concept of Genba, the practice of leaving the boardroom to physically observe the exact location where the actual work happens. When the development team steps onto the floor of that automotive assembly line, the manager's daily reality looks entirely different than it did on paper. In this complex physical environment, the manager isn't analyzing long-term forecasts. Instead, the manager spends 2 hours every day frantically making phone calls to truck drivers, trying to figure out where the raw materials are before the line grinds to a halt. Observing the workflow directly exposes the massive disconnect between the hypothetical solutions people say they want and the immediate operational fires their environment forces them to fight. To extract useful data during these observations, you can use an interrogation framework known as the MOM test. It is designed specifically to bypass human politeness and force the subject to reveal the truth. Rule 1. Never mention your proposed solution. Instead of presenting your idea, have the customer map out exactly what their current daily workflow looks like on a timeline. Rule 2. Forbid questions about future behavior. Asking if someone will buy something yields useless predictions. You must demand hard data about past actions. Look at the timeline and ask for the exact number of hours lost to the bottleneck and the exact number of dollars spent attempting to fix it. Rule 3. Remain completely silent 80% of the time. Once the subject details the logistics of the problem, keep digging until you uncover the core emotional driver operating beneath that workflow. In this factory study, the interrogation revealed that the manager's primary obstacle was the visceral fear of a line stoppage and the subsequent reprimand from leadership. Armed with this data, the tech team discards the $1 million AI forecasting project. They pivot and instead build a simple, real-time GPS tracker that lets the manager see exactly where the delivery trucks are. By focusing on the manager's stress instead of his interest in AI, the team developed a tool that solved an immediate, painful problem, resulting in a contract the factory was willing to sign immediately. Before you leave the building to conduct your own field research, you need strict parameters. First, leave every brochure, pitch deck, and sales asset behind. You're there to gather evidence, not to pitch. Second, conduct pair interviews. One person manages the dialogue and maintains eye contact, while the second takes notes and monitors the subject's body language and the surrounding environmental friction. Finally, you must walk into the field with a clear hypothesis regarding the customer's problem and possess the absolute willingness to let the customer prove that hypothesis completely wrong. Organizations that prioritize this type of direct observation identify specific workflow bottlenecks that their competitors, who remain in the office analyzing spreadsheets, simply never see. Once you have extracted that verified data, you have to test it in the market without draining your bank account. In the next video, we'll look at how to build a minimum viable product to validate that data in the real world.